Good morning and welcome to Creative Marketing TV. Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are as you're watching this. My name is Susan Joy Schlief, and I am the founder and host of Creative Marketing TV, where we help entrepreneurs, professionals, and small business owners share their message with creative marketing. Today I'm talking with Sharyn Sheldon, the owner of Content Sparks. And we're going to focus on how our audience of entrepreneurs, professionals, and small business owners can choose the right content to move people through their lead funnel or sales funnel. So Sharyn, welcome to Creative Marketing TV.
Hey, Susan, how are you?
I'm doing well, and I'm so excited to talk to you today.
Me too.
I know that you have a background in instructional design and lots of experience with training, as I do as well, in the corporate world. But tell us, Sharyn, if you would, a little bit about your journey from that to running your own business, Content Sparks.
Well, it was kind of a circuitous route because I spent a lot of years working with corporate clients. I was in a consulting firm, and then I went out on my own with a couple other colleagues of mine. And it's a very up and down industry when you're a consultant, as you probably know. And at one point, it was actually after 9/11, at one point I looked ahead and I said, is this really what I want to be doing for the rest of my life? My kids were getting older. They were going to be graduating high school and going to college. And I realized I didn't want to be doing that, these one-off consulting projects. I liked the instructional design, but I didn't really like working with corporate clients. And I wanted to be able to work and live anywhere in the world. That was one of our goals personally. So my husband had said to me, well, what about this whole content thing, content marketing? That's becoming a big deal. Take a look at it. And I explored it and went online and looked at something called the 30-day challenge and started by doing this niche marketing where you pick a keyword. It's a very traditional approach. You pick a keyword and you build a blog around it. Mm-hmm. And you're supposedly going to be blog about this and be passionate about it. And I built some stuff. It's really hard going unless you are very devoted to that.
It's a lot of work,
topic.
Yeah.
A lot of work. And I spent a decent amount of time doing that and learning a lot, and realized I'd missed the instructional design and using my real skills and expertise. And along the way, I'd found this thing called PLR, private label rights. And I don't know if everyone knows what that is. So I'll just say it's content you can buy and then customize and use it as your own. So put your own name on it. And I started by using somebody else's articles for this weddings website that I had. And I realized this could be a really good field for me. I like doing the content, the instructional design, and I uncovered this market of people who wanted something more sophisticated than these straight PLR articles, because most people were doing article packs at that point, and no one was doing something like full training programs. And still, actually, there aren't too many people doing that. So that's how I gradually built up where I am today, doing these training programs and not necessarily all full training programs, some smaller ones as well that people use to build their credibility.
Yeah, thanks. That's a good explanation. That's definitely how I got started following you when you had your other company name before even. I had stayed away from PLR because most of what I looked at was pretty generic, and I had a very unique approach to PowerPoint that I was teaching. So I thought, I'm not going to find anybody else that has that kind of message in their PLR content. And most of what they were teaching was very simplistic and, not at all what the message that I was trying to get across. So I was really pleased when I found what you're doing. I haven't done a lot with it yet, but
well, that's one of my challenges, to help people use it more.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's definitely a different type of content. So I know On this show, Sharyn, we focus, like I said, with on entrepreneurs, professionals, small business owners, especially those that have a unique message to share with their audience and that they're trying to get that message across. And
Mm-hmm.
of course, content marketing is a great way to do that. Let's see, you had a great article, a blog post, right, recently
Mm-hmm.
about, it's partly what led me to contact you about being on this show. You talked about 3 stages of a potential customer or client developing a relationship with you and your business. Can you walk us through those stages?
Sure. And actually, it might be helpful at this point if I share that post. Like I can do a screen share and
Yep,
actually open that up so
that
people can
sounds.
see it.
Oh, you know what? I don't know if I switched the camera back to you. Yep. Okay.
Let me do the screen share, and I forgot to turn my phone off. Sorry about
Okay.
that.
Oh,
um,
actually, I did too. All right.
Usually I unplug it. Okay. This is live, everyone. All right, so I'm sharing my screen. Let me know if you can see it.
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. So in the post, I talked about, I call it your 3-point content plan, answer these questions. And basically, I boiled everything down to 3 main steps that people go through in their relationship with you. So you have someone who doesn't know you at all, and maybe they're passing you on the sidewalk. They happen to see a blog post, or if you happen to be on Facebook and you're promoting the blog post, they'll see it there. And their question is first, who are you? And then, well, why should I even listen to you and what you have to say? What's so important about what you're saying? So they're gradually getting to know you, from not knowing you at all to being interested in what you have to say, and wanting to learn more and more. And then the next stage is what I call the conversion stage, is when they're actually ready to look at what you have to offer in more detail with an idea of buying it. So it's all they're saying, what's your solution? Which one's the best for me? How is it different from everyone else? And why should I buy it? Why should I buy it now? And once they do become a customer and buy something, you go into what I call the loyalty phase, which is where you're helping them implement what they bought. So their question is, how can you help me implement it? And keeping them customers, why should I come back for more? What else do you have to offer? So what other products and services do you have? So that's what I talk about as the process. It's the traditional sales process. I just don't have it laid out here as a circle, but at that loyalty stage, you're going back through the conversion. They already know who you are, but they're going back and saying, what else do you have? And why should I buy it? And how will it help me?
Right. As you're describing that, Sharyn, I'm realizing that from a consumer's perspective, I might even describe that a little bit differently. That second phase, the conversion, isn't always about why should I buy it? Sometimes it's about, do I really like this person's message? Do I want to keep reading their blog posts or whatever other free content they have? And I might stay at that stage for a long time before I'm ready to think about buying something from them. But that that middle stage, I think, and even the first stage, can look very different for different people.
Oh, definitely. And this awareness stage also can be much longer or shorter based on whether they're coming in even recognizing that they have any kind of issue at all.
Right.
So
that's right.
If they have no idea, then you're actually educating them from the very beginning that there is a problem, and they may have no idea that there are solutions to it.
Yeah. And that's actually a great point that you bring up, because that's something that I really struggled with in my business, because most people don't know they have a problem with their PowerPoint presentations. They look just like everybody else's. So what could be wrong?
That's true. That's
Yeah,
true. And except that people are falling asleep when they're watching it.
exactly. Right.
Well, it's the same for me. I have people who are a lot of business coaches and consultants who need to create training or want to build their credibility, and they don't realize that there is, and they say they don't have enough time. They don't have enough time. They don't realize that there is a way to cut that time down dramatically by using something where they don't have to start from scratch.
Yeah.
They have a starting point. They don't have to
Yeah.
create it all themselves.
Well, and the other thing I'd add to that for yours too is that many, many people on the internet these days that are doing training of some kind, they don't have any idea that there are instructional design principles that they should be following with that training. And
Very
so,
true.
yeah,
Very true. And
yeah,
that's a whole nother thing.
yeah,
It's a whole nother story.
yeah, exactly. All right. Well, we want to move on to talking about the content for each of those stages. But before we do that, Sharyn, can you just give us your definition of what content marketing is so we make sure everybody's on the same page with that?
Well, content marketing to me is really just educating people. It's educating them on different topics which are relevant to them and their needs. And then doing it in a very consistent way so that you are attracting your ideal audience, engaging them, and eventually converting them to customers. So, in terms of content, you're getting them aware of you, but building a relationship with them. And by helping them with answering different questions and solving different problems. And then you have content that's converting them to a customer and content that's actually bringing them back over and over again. So a lot of it's about relationship building and answering questions.
Yeah,
Needs.
solving needs. Yeah, that's what I would add is, it's not just educating them about why they should buy from you, but it's actually helping them, giving them usable, valuable information that for free, right? And
Yeah,
so,
it's not, when I say educate, I don't necessarily mean the why buy. The
right,
educating is around whatever your topic is that you're talking to them, that's related to their issues, their needs, their
right,
pains.
exactly. Yeah.
Right.
All right. So let's take a closer look at what kind of content to develop and share for that first stage of when people don't know who you are.
So that awareness stage where they have no idea, that thing where, they're saying, who are you? Why should I listen to what you have to say? What's so important about it?
Yep.
And if I just scroll down my post a little, you can see a list. I don't know if people can see this, of the type of content. And it's just one list here, but in general, you're going to have different types of content that will make them aware of you and then build a relationship. So there's content that's freely accessible on the web, what I call web publishable or freely published. Things like blog posts and social media posts and videos on YouTube and things like podcasts and free webinars, press releases, all those different things that are just out there so that anyone searching could find information. But then you also have, for building the relationship, what I call gated content. So content where they have to provide some sort of email address or phone number, something like that, in order to get that next level of content. So that's where you're moving up and building the relationship from just who are you to, oh, I'm actually interested in learning a little bit more about you.
Right.
And let me see some of what you have to offer. So you'd have things like a cheat sheet, templates. People love those. Lists of resources, infographics, short reports. Or if you're a consultant who's doing one-on-one or one-on-one coaching, you might be giving that complimentary consultation or workshop. It's all that free stuff,
Right.
the free content. So that's what I'd say are the biggest things in the awareness stage. And I should also say in their emails. So if you're getting someone on your list, it's your email series that follows up whatever freebie that you're doing and then starts educating them more about your topic, about helping them. So it's solving more of their problems and then educating them more about you as well, building relationships.
And then would you include really low cost products too? Like if they pay for a $7 ebook or something that could be at this stage, right?
I still think of that as the next level when they're becoming a customer,
Okay.
because once they open up their wallets and pay for something,
It does change things, yeah.
yeah, it changes things. They're a buyer, and a lot of people are going to enter into that customer relationship with you at a very low level and
Hmm.
then build up from there into higher priced items. Or
Hmm.
they may always stay at that $7 level and they're just buy
Yeah.
lots of cheap stuff. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. But you
I,
have to treat them the same way. You treat a customer who bought something for $7 as well as someone who bought something for 97,
right. Right.
because they're going to get there eventually.
I guess the only exception I might make is I've heard people say this in terms of Kindle books, that 99 cents is the new free. So,
Oh, I suppose so.
I think people are pretty quick to pay for a 99-cent Kindle book without feeling like they've made much of a commitment there. But
Yeah, I
but yeah,
suppose
that's kind of a
so.
gray
Yeah.
area, I think. So
Yeah.
anyway, let's talk about when we get people moved to that buyer stage at whatever
Hmm.
level. What kind of content do we need then to help at that stage when you're actually trying to convert them?
So at the conversion level, so I guess this is all, you're right. This is also where that $7 product would come in. The conversion content I think of as everything that would actually get them to become a customer, and then the
Okay,
products themselves. So there's
right.
sales materials, all your copywriting materials and descriptions, anything you include in your product. So that $7 or 99-cent product,
Mm-hmm.
uh, the things that they're going to be paying for, any resources or membership site.
Mm-hmm.
So I think of that as all the paid products
Okay,
that are in there.
but
And if
that also include
once they buy that $7 product, which is what I call a conversion content because it's an actual product, then they would be moving into that next phase as a customer. So the 99-cent Kindle book, if I had to say where that fell into here, that would be tough. Maybe that is part of the awareness because they're just getting to know your content. And then your next level is, what are you going to sell them next after that 99-cent Kindle book?
and and I know, at least for the way I do it, sometimes that what are you going to sell them next is built right into that awareness product, right? So you might have a description or a link even to the next step that you're suggesting,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. All the things, once you get them onto your list, or especially all the things they can download, there should
Mm-hmm.
be links to a paid product in there.
Right.
And in your freely published stuff, things like a blog post, you should have links to the next level of where they provide their email address.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's all flows through. And of course, I have a blog post on this as well, but I'm not going to confuse people by opening another one.
Right.
You start with this free content, you capture their emails, you build a relationship and have some sort of offer, whether it's the 99-cent Kindle book or a $7 report or something else. And in there, you have another recommendation. So even in your bigger products, you'd have recommendations for that next level of other products
Mm-hmm.
that you could be selling them, or other books or courses,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it may be.
So
Everything should have a call to action of trying to get a customer. All content should have some sort of request to take an action, even if it's just to look at another blog post.
right. No, that makes sense. And I'm saying that's a very different kind of content that we're talking about at this stage. So
Yeah, it's all linked. You're always moving people from one to the other
mm-hmm.
and to the next. So it's different type of content, but it's just a progression.
Well, and it's more robust content, right? That takes a little longer to develop. That's probably the place where
Mm-hmm.
the PLR comes in even more helpful, when people have to start creating these longer content pieces. Do you
Well,
find that's true with your business or not?
Well, the first level, that awareness should really be very tightly focused on one small problem so that they
Hmm.
can see a result. So if you have a larger product, a lot of people like to just pull one bit out or
Hmm.
do a higher level, but so that people can see a result. And that's a lot of the building your credibility comes from that, from
Right.
solving something small, something where they can quickly see a result, because they're not going to spend a lot of time on you when they're just getting to know you.
Right.
It's a big time investment to do any kind of larger course. So if you're people who try and do a big course as their free offer are more likely to lose those prospects, because why would you spend hours and hours with someone you don't know?
That's a good point.
Or you're just giving away everything and then there's nothing new to buy because you're still trying to consume the free stuff.
Hmm.
That's the big danger of all this free content out there. There's just too much.
Right. Right. People can't absorb it all,
Yeah, that's
let alone implement it. Right.
right. And that's why a lot of things like templates and cheat sheets and resource lists are more and more popular as that free offer to get people onto your email list versus the big ebooks that, they're still out there, but you tend to download it and save it on your hard drive, and that's the end of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that's one I've been struggling with is to make shorter ebooks.
Right.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the third stage, the loyalty stage,
Hmm.
and what that content looks like.
So, this is a stage that I think a lot of people neglect. They get a customer, maybe they send them a couple follow-up emails, and then they forget, or they just keep sending promotions after that.
Mm.
But the real key here is to help them actually use what they bought and then continue to help them over time, always giving them more tips, helping them be successful, and then recommending other things that will help them. Not just promotion, 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 but first I had things like product tutorials and FAQs and case studies, so people seeing examples of what other customers have done and how they've used that purchase. If you're, for instance, selling a course on, I'm trying to think of an example, a course on how to create an online course. There are a lot of those out there.
Yes,
Then
definitely.
there are a lot. Um, it might be showing people what other students have done, what courses they've created and the struggles they've been through. So that kind of thing is good. And then that regular email follow up with lots and lots of tips and education and helping them is going to build them to be loyal customers who keep coming back and buying more. And this I've definitely found over and over, that customers just stay with you when you're always helping them.
Hmm.
Even if they don't buy something for a while. I have customers who maybe haven't bought, they bought something one year and it was a whole nother year before they bought something again.
Hmm.
But because I stayed in contact with them and kept sending more information, they didn't forget about me.
Right. Yeah, it's really, I think you're sort of implying that, but the deepening the relationship is important at that stage too, right? It's not just making sure they use the content, but making sure that they continue to value their relationship with you, right?
Right. And that's where things like a Facebook group comes in
Yep.
really, really well.
And the
Because you
email
can,
newsletter too, right?
right, the newsletter, the Facebook group, the videos, other content that is going to, they can see you and get to know you more. Because they might just have bought that one little product and they're getting to know you and eventually buy something much bigger.
Yep. Yep. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, Sharyn, people might be wondering at this point, how do they get this content to people based on what stage they're at?
So are you do you mean the delivery or actually identifying what content they should actually create first?
I was thinking more about the delivery. Like, you obviously your free stuff is going to be available different places on the internet,
Mm-hmm.
but once somebody moves into that second stage, maybe, then how do you identify who needs to get that second stage content versus who needs the third stage content? And how do you keep track of where people are at what stage and what kind of content to send them?
Well, this is where automation really comes in useful, and actually having some sort of either a customer relationship management system or something like a simple autoresponder where you have stuff set up and people automatically move from stage to stage. So you
Because they're on
have,
a different list once they become a buyer.
right, exactly. They
Okay.
have, if it's an automated funnel versus a customer relationship management, which is more one-on-one. In the automated one, you'd have a series of emails set up for when they first opt in and give you their email. And you set up a series of emails. And somewhere in there, you have a promotion. And when they buy that whatever that product, you immediately move them to a different list, a customer list. And that's where you start doing other sorts of emails, the FAQs and the tutorials and other offers. So that type of automation with a customer relationship management system, and sometimes they're built together. Mine has both. You'd have alerts for yourself. They can actually score leads based on what actions they've taken. So that's a little more complicated, more for people who do that, who bring in coaching clients and have to keep scoring and seeing where people are, how much they've interacted, what stuff you've already sent them.
Okay.
So you can get into all sorts of fancy automations on
Right.
that.
All right. Well, thank you. Sharyn, I know you have a free offer that you want to share with our viewers and listeners. Do you want to tell us about that and I'll bring up the
Oh,
URL on
okay.
the slide, or did you want to show it?
Well, I can show the page, which
Okay.
if they click on your link, you should come up with this.
This page, right?
And what it is a planning template. It's one that we use in our business as well, that is in Excel, though I'm sure it'll open up in other spreadsheets as well. And you lay out all the content that you're planning to publish based on different events that you have going on. And actually, if you hang on one second, I should have opened this before. I'm going to try and find it so you can see what it looks like. Sorry
Okay.
about this.
No, it's okay. While you do that, I'm going to bring up the URL.
Let's see if I can find it, and then
I'll switch back to you once you find it.
hopefully I can share this as an image on my screen. I'm not sure I can. Well, let me try quickly, and if it doesn't open, it doesn't open. And for some reason, since I loaded Office 365, all my documents automatically open up in OpenOffice instead. Isn't that annoying?
That is strange.
Can you see this?
1 second. I've got mine shared, so let me. Oops, that's not what I meant to do.
I'm not sure it's. No, I don't think it's sharing. Maybe I have to change what I'm sharing.
All
Let me
right.
try one thing.
Oh, no, it is sharing.
Oh.
Yep, sorry. I just had to switch the camera over to you.
Let me try it again. Okay. Let's try again. All right, so now is it sharing? Can you see the template?
I see it in the list. Go ahead and do you have it open? It's sharing.
Oh, maybe I shared the wrong thing. Okay, I shared the wrong thing. Let's try one more time. Here, maybe it's this. Is that it?
Yes.
Where it says content planning template overview.
Yep.
So what I did here is I put together a spreadsheet So you can plan out all the content you're going to publish based on, say, a free offer that you have that month to bring in new leads, and any other events you have going on, whether they're paid or promotion. And then you lay out blog posts, social media, how often you're going to do it, emails. This isn't automated emails. This is broadcast one. So this isn't your automated follow-up. That's something you just set up, put it on autopilot, it goes. So every time somebody opts into your free offer, whether it's a webinar or report, they start getting those. That's not what this is.
Right.
So video. So I did a spreadsheet where you can, this is just an example. And at the bottom, I have tabs where you'd fill in. So you do your own overview and fill in for, say, a month each week. And then you can go into more detail. A lot of people just stick with that, or you can go into more detail of, in your blog posts, what are the topics going to be? Who's going to write it? What's your call to action? What links are you going to have in it? So that everything ends up being tied together and consistent, and then your content really starts working for you.
Yeah. Wow,
starts attracting new people. And then you can also have an idea bank, so that whatever topics, and it's all in one place, any ideas you have for future topics you can put in there. And you can keep a list as well of what you've already published.
Okay.
If you're doing a lot of that. Not everyone uses every tab.
Yeah.
I use Evernote a lot too for ideas.
Yeah, I have a lot of this on a spreadsheet already, but I like some of your things here. I think I'm going to add some of those to my spreadsheet. Sharyn, that's great. It's a great tool for people to have. And I'm going to bring that URL back up here. While I do that, it may seem a little overwhelming for people who haven't done much with content marketing. Can you maybe share one tip for people one task they can do to get started with all of this?
That's one of the toughest questions, but what I would say with anything, with any big task, is to talk to your customers or do some sort of survey first, so that you really understand where they're coming from and what their needs are. That was a big turning point for me in my business when I did my first real survey of customers and asked them about their needs and their pain points and their biggest challenges, or even just talking to people at conferences and getting a better idea. And then I could get inside their heads better. And I'm always doing that. It's not just one time and you know everybody. I learned something new every single time I do this. Now, of course, if you don't already have a base of customers, it's a little more difficult. And then you're still going to have to get out there and find other ways to get the information, whether it's on forums or Facebook groups, or if you go to conferences and seminars, doing it there, or talking to people you know who might be your target market.
Start doing the research. That's great.
Find out what their biggest challenges are, their biggest pain points.
Good. All right. Well, let me stop sharing here and we'll get ready to wrap up. So again, this is Creative Marketing TV. My name is Susan Joy Schlief. My guest today has been Sharyn Sheldon. Sharyn, any last minute words of wisdom you want to share with people? Anything I should have asked you that I didn't?
The only other thing is, I think most people it sounds complicated. Most people get stuck because they do get overwhelmed, like you said, but you don't really know how it's going to work out until you start putting something together. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be that full funnel of all these different content and upsells and downsells and fancy stuff. The only time I finally started being successful was when I just stuck to the basics, put one thing out there, and then gradually added on. And I still try and keep it simple, because otherwise nothing's going to happen. If you don't at least try and put one thing out there. It may be a complete failure, but you don't know until you try it.
One of my mentors uses a phrase all the time of completion, not perfection. So you get one thing done and finished, and then you can go back and make it better if you want. But
so true. And I have that every single time I publish something. it goes out there and I say, oh, I could have made that better and that
Right,
better.
right.
And this could have been different. And
Yeah,
it's hard to let go of
it
that,
is.
but you can go
Especially,
back and make it better.
yeah, especially for us perfectionists.
Right, right,
All
exactly.
right. Well, that free content planner is available at bit.ly/Sharyn S. Sharyn with a Y. I'll bring that URL up one more time as we get ready to say goodbye.
Yeah, on to that.
bit.ly/Sharyn S to get your free content planner. Well, Sharyn, thank you so much for talking with me today. I've learned a lot. Hopefully our audience has as well.
Thank you. This was great. Thanks for inviting me on.
All right. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for watching or listening.